We've been completing a Media MLA in English workshop. The intention is to get out of the way some of the more technical aspects of working with technology and media so that we can focus on creating, particularly when researching. Creating a research paper requires many skills, and the more tools and resources you have, especially new Web 2.0 applications, the easier it will be for you. So we're going to take some time to learn some things about technology and media, MLA as well, that will aid us in English and all endeavors. To begin with this workshop, I'm going to begin by going to the MLA page on our buildingperceptions.org website. This has all the information that you could possibly need to master MLA, including an MLA document template. Simply download this document, save it. I'm going to go ahead and already save it according to correct language conventions, which in our class we have our period number, last name, first initial, underscore, and we're going to title this document Practice. So if I'm Jane Doe in first period, I would type 1 Doe J underscore practice. I don't need to type the dot because it's going to be saved for me. Once I save the document, I want to go ahead and open it up. As you can see, the information is just general here. What we want to do is change the information to ourselves, clicking on the header and typing your last name in the space, and we've already done the saving. So as I go up here, I'm going to change my last name to Doe, and there should be a space here. If there's not, type 1. I can exit by pressing close, or I can double click anywhere on the document. I'm going to change my first and last name, Jane Doe. My teacher's already there. My period is 1. 2-digit date format. This is the European style. Today is the 6th of January 2012. Notice that there's no commas. I type my title. I'm just going to write my practice document. I don't make any changes to my font. While we're encouraged to be creative in our content, with MLA, the decisions for formatting and font have already been decided for you. I'm going to write a little bit in my first paragraph, my introduction to my paper. I just downloaded the MLA template from the BPI website. I changed the information to my own. Now I am going to make a bulleted list. There's a couple of ways to make a bulleted list. The first thing that you can do is start by pressing the dash, a space, and beginning to type. Another way is to simply click on the bullets. If I click on this, it's going to automatically choose one bullet format, but I can drop down menu and I can make any that I want. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. Let me add something to this list. How about an important URL like, hey, the link to the MLA page? Let's go ahead and go back to the MLA page. I want to copy. I can either right mouse click and press copy. I can also simply press Control and C. Then I'm going to go to my Word document and press Control V, or alternatively, you could press paste by right mouse clicking. Once I put a space after, it'll turn into an active hyperlink. I want to add another one that's going to lead us into the next day of our workshop. We have a link to all the resources we could need for MLA, but we're going to be using a social bookmarking platform called Diigo, where you're going to be able to save, like your favorites, to one place, except it's online. In other words, you'd be able to access your favorites from any computer. Let's go back to the MLA page. Diigo list for Research 411. You can imagine this will be incredibly important when you're creating your research paper. My Diigo opens. I have all of these tools that I can use, all of these sites for organizing, for finding resources, etc. This will be very helpful for me in researching. So again, I'm going to copy. I'm going to use the shortcut Control C, go back to my Word document, and press Control V, space, and there we go. I have another hyperlink. To go ahead and press enter. In order to get rid of the bullet, you need to press backspace. Backspace until you get to the beginning of the line. We're going to do a little bit with Diigo. I'm going to type Diigo here. And I want to start a numbered list. To do a numbered list, I can just simply start by typing the number 1, period, and a space. Or I can go to right next to where the bulleted points were to numbers. And there we go. So right now with Diigo, what I'd like to do is see a sample list, make an account, use the Diigo lit one time. You'll understand what that is in a minute. We're going to add bookmarks. This would be URL or links. We're going to create a list for a research paper, and we're going to share that list with Mrs. Perales. Her email would be buildingperception@gmail.com, since that's the email she uses for her Diigo account. Best place to start was actually just go ahead and go back to that Diigo list. I want to join Diigo. In order to join Diigo, I need to have an email address, one that I can check because I'm going to have to register my account by verifying my email. I'm going to choose a username, Jane Doe 4444, see if it's available. Hey, great, it is. My first name is Jane, my last name is Doe, and my email address is, well, I just made one just for this account, and that would be msjanedoe4@gmail.com. Great, my email is available. Notice that they're going to send me a password, just like they'll send you, a message. Choose your password. Make sure it's something that you're going to remember. And then you have to pass the CAPTCHA. This is to prove you're human. Basically, you enter the text that's in the box. I think this says HABLETI and trails. Not quite sure, but we're about to find out. Click continue. If I'm successful, I'm going to see this. Please activate your account. Note, we've sent you an email to verify your account. If you don't get the email, resend email. Well, I'm going to go to my email, and sure enough, I have activate my Diigo account. In order to do this, I have to click on my activation link. Once I click on my activation link, I'm actually a member of the community. Now, it says I can get started by adding the Diigo to my browser. It says you can drag the button, but if you're having trouble, just right mouse click and select Add to Favorites. I'm going to continue because I know this is safe. I'm going to add it to my favorites bar. And once I've used the Diigo to add a URL, I never really have to use it again. Let me go to something that I would like to bookmark. And I'd like to bookmark Mrs. Perales list for research resources. Now I know how to access that from my practice document. So I'm going to go back to that. And once I open it, I'm going to click on my favorites on my Diigo lit. And all of a sudden I have some options here. I'm going to press highlight, and I can highlight information that I like. I could click sticky note, and I could type something. This way I could remember it later. I can make that private so only I will be able to see them. When you come back to this page anytime, all of your annotations will be there. I can also share. For now, I'm going to just go ahead and write bookmark. Notice that it already found what information it could. I'm going to make a description so I can remember what it is. All about research from Mrs. P. Tags are things so that other people can find your bookmarks, like research, list, Diigo. Save bookmark. Now, when I go into my Diigo account, I'm going to find out that I actually have something there. It's all by itself, unlike Ms. Prowler's list. In order to create a list, you have to click on Create New List. You can make one for your research paper. Maybe you just want to type it research sites. This will be a place where you can save all of the sites that you use when you access your research. All the URLs will be saved in one place, and when it comes to make your works cited page, it will be simple. I'm going to put this in schools and education, keywords, research, MLA, description, sites I used for my research project. Items at the end of the list, that means every time you add a URL, it'll come at the end, opposite for the beginning. Create the list. Notice this is public. This means I can share it with other people. Once a list has been created, the really cool thing is when you go to bookmark something, you now have another option. Let's go to our MLA page and see if there's something else that might be valuable in there. Oh, it looks like this is a comical YouTube video. Let me see if I can just go see it on YouTube. There it is. This is a great video, avoiding plagiarism. All I need to do is copy and paste, again, the URL, unless I use the Diigo. Now, if you can't use the Diigo because we're at school, once you've used the Diigo anywhere, you don't need it anymore. You have the option to simply copy and paste the URL. I'm going to go to share to get the short URL, copy it, and go back to my Diigo list, and I'm going to go to back to my library. This is the way we have to work if we can't use the tool. Add new bookmark. The URL, there you go. Title, plagiarism, your work, ... And I could add a description here, something that would make me remember it. Now that I've made a list, I have an option. I can actually save this to research sites, and every time I want to add a new bookmark to that list, it'll show up there. Your library shows you all of your links. How is this going to be beneficial? Well, I'm doing research. I need a lot of websites. If you look at my list right now, I only have one. I could create a new list for any project, for another class, for anything. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to create one right now. We've already created a list. Now that we've added something, we know how to add. Simply, without the Diigo toolbar, without the Diigo we just need to use that one time to add one URL, and after that, we don't need it on any computer. We can just use that Add New Item button. Alright? Add New Bookmark and choose. We can also create groups. When you create groups in Diigo, the purpose is so that you can collaborate with other people. Perhaps you are creating a group project and you have other people and you're all using different resources. Well, golly gee, in Diigo you just create a new list. Our group name is the Julius Caesar Team A. Description, all our resources shared together. I'm going to also go ahead and select that this is schools and education. I'm going to keep it public. I'm going to let this list show in the search results. Now joining, you can do by invitation only, where you have to send an email to a member. You can have apply to join, where someone else can see your page and apply to join. But you can also invite people. I'm going to go ahead and keep it as to apply to join. I don't want to make it open. I want to keep it just within my class. I'm going to create my group. Then I could start inviting people. I could invite Mrs. Perales. Join me. We can work on our project together. Ooh, if I can spell. Invite. She's going to get a message, be able to join. Now, whenever we post a bookmark, typing URL, I'm just going to use that same YouTube one I had from before. That's going to be something that I can share. When I post it, my whole team can do it. Anyone who's in my group can do the same thing. We can all access the same resources. Now that's Diigo in a nutshell. Another tutorial we can go in depth on how to use the advantages of the actual Diigo toolbar, which appears as a full toolbar separate from your favorites. Let me go ahead and close out of this. Close out of this. I want to go back to my Word document. I've looked at the sample list. I've made my account. I used the Diigo lit. I added bookmarks. I created a list. Now, I shared my group with Mrs. Perales, but I didn't share that list. Well, how would we go about sharing a list? Well, let me go back to my list. Research sites. It's going to give me some options like share this. Social bookmarking. I can actually share my things with other sites that are all for researching. Notice all these different resourcing sites that are available. I can, if I do permalink, this is the link I can share with other people so that they can see my list. If you want to share your list with me, you can log back into your email and email it me that way too. Go back to my Gmail where I had activated my account and create a new message, sending it to whoever I'd like, and link to join, and you'll be able to see everything that's in that list. Now, let's go back to our sample document. We have shared the group we made, so we've actually created a list and we created a group. For now, we are pretty much done with what we need to know about Diigo. So we're going to close out of this, but I've changed my practice document. That means I need to upload it to my Edmodo backpack. I'm going to press Control S, which is a fast way of doing Control Save. Now I can go back into Edmodo. I'm logged into Edmodo. When I click on Library, I see my backpack. Right now there's nothing in my backpack, but there's about to be. Add to backpack. Upload. And then you're going to look for the file that you saved. Dojo practice. Open. Add to backpack. And there it is when we are ready for the next day of our workshop. In fact, all you'll have to do is click on it, no matter what computer you're at home, at school, at the library, click download, and it's the same process. Okay? Very good. Hopefully we're ready to move on to shortcuts. That'll be our next section.